So today is what, January 2nd, 2026. So it's the first rocket report of the year. Ha 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 ha. So how's Rocket doing this week? It's been raining the last couple of days, and it's not a pleasant experience for him or me, especially yesterday. Yesterday was crazy. According to the weather report from last night, we had 2 inches of rain, over 2 inches of rain yesterday. Actually, it was a 2.3 inches. To put that into measurements for the rest of the world, that's about 10, it's over 10 centimeters, probably about 11 or 12 centimeters. No, sorry, just about maybe 11 centimeters for the day. And it's like, oh, that doesn't sound a lot. For us, it's a lot because to put it in perspective, and what it means again to me and Rocket, because the water coming from the sky affects our joints and stuff. And to put it in perspective, historically in January, we only get 1 inch of rain. So that's 2.5 centimeters of rain on average in January. We got twice that yesterday, more than twice that, just in one day. One 24-hour period, we got more than that. We got 2 months worth of rain basically in one day, and it's not quite done yet. We're supposed to be getting some more in the next couple of days. Not like the we just experienced, but they're saying for the next, I think some from Sunday to Wednesday next week, we got a chance for some more rain coming in, which again is always good because we do need the water. That's still an ongoing issue here. So, but anyway, Rocket. Yeah, he does well most of the time. Yesterday was rough for the. Well, was it rough yesterday? Um, the daytime. Let's see. Mrs. Gimpy took off to go spend some time with her parents on January 1st. From 2 to 4 was their little appointment that they did, and Mrs. Gimpy didn't get back home until about 5 or so. Yeah, she got home just as my 5 o'clock break was starting. So she was gone for about 3 hours, a little over. If you take in travel times and stuff, and which didn't really bother Rocket until he woke up, because she left about 1:45 or 1:45, and then Rocket was asleep. He didn't wake up until about 3 o'clock, I think, 3 p.m. And then he was up, and he was not happy because usually the first thing he does when he wakes up is he goes around the house looking for her. Well, actually, he's looking technically for us, but he knows I'm here. So it's not a really big search for me or to find me, because all he does, he just walks in here and goes, yep, he's here. And he goes on to the next room looking for her. And then he doesn't find her. And then he starts throwing a fit. I was going through yesterday's videos for yesterday on the stream, and the editing for the highlight I have to do for every time I get interrupted by Rocket. I think it was hour 4. I think it was the 4th hour. I think it started about halfway through the 4th hour, and all of a sudden, all these edits I have to do because it's like every time he starts interrupting through, because he comes. What he does is I can hear him howling and stuff out in the living room, which is no big deal as long as it doesn't sound too excited. Because if it's excited, that means he's stuck somewhere. But it wasn't too bad. But then eventually he wanders in here, and instead of just looking at me to verify I'm here, he actually, his newer thing is he looks at me and he howls at me or barks at me. When it's not really a bark, it's more of a howl, growling type deal. Like, it's my fault Mrs. Gimpy's not here. So he takes it out on me. And he was doing that a number of times yesterday. I think it was like 5 or 6 times is according to what I edited out on the video. I think between, like I said, halfway through the 4th hour and all the way down no, sorry. Because I did 5 hours yesterday. Yeah, I did 5. We ended the stream early because Mrs. Keeper brought food home. So yeah, so it was so about 4.5 hours in, all the way through. Sorry, no, 3.5 hours in to 5 hour. I'm getting my math is all mixed up. We'll just say between hour 4 and 5 is highly edited for the highlights because of Rocket coming in to express his displeasure with me because Mrs. Gimpy wasn't here. And then we also came up with a brilliant experiment last night that didn't go so well. For those of you who don't know, because Rocket's on medication and to help with his pain management and stuff, because he's got arthritis in his hips and his back, and sometimes he has trouble sleeping, and so we give him this particular medication that helps him with the pain. It's supposed to make him less anxious, and it's supposed to help with his seizure control too. But it doesn't make him sleepy. It sometimes it does, but it doesn't seem like it does very often. But anyway, yesterday was it? When was this? I think it was. I think it was before the stream. I brought it up to Mrs. Gimpy. I go, we should try something new tonight, because usually what we do is, because Rocket needs to be monitored throughout the night and for just to make sure everything goes okay, and he bumps into things because he sleeps most of the day and therefore he's active more at night. That's just the way it works. And when he's up active, he gets stuck in spots like behind the toilet in one of the bathrooms, or he'll get stuck in a corner of the room and he throws a fit, and this kind of stuff. Or he'll walk through one of his water bowls, knock those over, so you got to keep an eye on him at night. Keep in mind, remember, he is over 18 and a half years old. So he's mostly blind, mostly deaf, and basically just does whatever he wants. And so anyway, typically Mrs. Gimpy and I, we take turns, being on what I call Rocket babysitting patrol. And basically all that means is he likes to sleep in the living room for the most part. He doesn't really like sleeping in our bedroom anymore. Well, he does, but he doesn't. Sometimes he does. Sometimes he doesn't. And that's a problem because we want to keep, be closer to him. And again, we take turns, keeping an eye on him. And last night was technically my night. But yesterday, before the stream, I went to Mrs. Gimpy with an idea. Let's try something different. Let's both spend the night in the living room and see how he reacts to that. Will he be more calmed down and stuff? Because you got to keep in mind, his universe is our condo and then me and Mrs. Gimpy. If you remove any of those three factors, he is not happy. And how do you remove the condo? Well, you take him out of the condo, and therefore the condo is no longer a part of his universe, and that bothers him. Sometimes, depends on what he's moving. He doesn't mind going out on a porch because that's considered the condo to him. And but if you take him out for a walk and stuff, and you try to go somebody else's house, he doesn't like it so much. Or a porch, he doesn't like that. And then if you take one of us out of the equation, he's not too terribly happy when I leave, but he's very unhappy when Mrs. Gimpy leaves, because they are definitely bonded. They've been bonded since the very first night we had the dogs, way back when in July of 2007. Rocket has had Mrs. Gimpy wrapped around his little paw since that very day that we brought him home. Him and Mickey, when we brought them home, he had Mrs. Gimpy wrapped around his little paw, and they've been bonded ever since. And that's why he gets so anxious when she's not around, because it's more than she's just part of his universe. She is part of him too. So he really misses her when she's not around. And so at night, when it's my turn to, play babysitter, like I said, he likes to sleep out in the living room, but Mrs. Gimpy's in the bedroom. And then I usually sleep on the couch at this point. And he's okay with that for the most part. But then sometimes during the night, he gets up and he has to walk around. He has to check on things and stuff. And if Mrs. Gimpy's not in the living room or the kitchen or the bathroom, whatever, he goes into the bedroom and he checks to see if she's there. And if she is there, which she is, he starts howling at her. It's hilarious. She doesn't appreciate that, though, because it's usually about 3 o'clock in the morning and she's dead out. She's dead asleep. So it's hilarious to me. I laugh every time. She doesn't appreciate it. But then, like I said, I came up with this idea. Let's both spend the night out in the living room and see how he does. And of course, Mrs. Gimpy's first reaction was, but isn't tonight your night? And I go, yeah. And she goes, well, what does that mean tomorrow night? Does that mean you're going to get to sleep in the bed tomorrow night, or blah, blah, blah. So her thought isn't, oh, is this going to work? It was, when does she get to sleep in the bed again? Because she thinks she's going to get skipped over. Because she thought I was going to skip my night. And I said, no, I'll do 2 nights in a row, no matter what. So that way you don't miss your night in bed. So there was no concern about, oh, yeah, that might work. It was, no, am I getting skipped over? Perfect react. Oh, yes, it was perfect. And when she said that, I just looked at her and go, that is so you. And she goes, what do you mean? I go, that is so you. You don't understand how you that is. And she didn't quite get it, but it was still hilarious. So anyway, we tried that last night. It went well till about here we had an issue here for whatever reason. Because yesterday, Rocket didn't get his medication until about noontime, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, for whatever. I don't know what the reasoning was here. Because usually the morning medication, because again, he gets it every 12 hours, and we usually been shooting for the 10 and 10, schedule, because that seems to work the best for everybody. And for some reason, and she usually has the morning ones, and for some reason he didn't get it until like noon or 11 o'clock, and I don't remember why. But as a result, the evening one gets pushed back until midnight, 1 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the morning, and she goes, we have to give him medication at 1 o'clock. And I go, why? And she goes, because he didn't get it until 1 p.m. this afternoon. And I go, no, we can't do that. That's just crazy. Let's push it to midnight. Go from there, and because I'm always trying to push it as close to 10 and 10 as much as possible. So if we're over, push it back. If we're under, push it forward, that kind of thing. So anyway, so I said, let's not wait until 1. We'll do midnight. And since we're both going to be here, and it's, we'll both be up more than likely, or there's a good chance. And it didn't quite go that way. So, because the previous night was Mrs. Gimpy's night, and that means she was up a lot of times. So she was really tired by the time 10 o'clock rolled around last night. So, and it just told her, well, just get your bed made up here on the floor, because that's where she has a fold out memory foam mattress type thing that she uses when it's her turn. I sleep on the couch. She sleeps on this nice little thing, this nice little memory foam thing that I can't sleep on because it kills my knees. And it's also hard to get up off the ground for me too, because it's so low. And so I said, 10 o'clock rolls around. She's really tired. And I go, just go sleep. And, I'll take care of Rocket until it's time to give him his medication. And okay, that was the plan. Well, she's sleeping away about 10, just after 10. And then I'm just watching a little bit of TV, and Rocket's sleeping, and I look at the time and go, I am not going to make it until midnight unless I take a nap. So I set an alarm on, I think it was Alexa or something like that, and I lay down on the couch and I take a nap. And next thing I know, it's 12:30, and Mrs. Gimpy's go, aren't you going to get up? I go, why? She goes, the alarm's going off. And I go, what alarm? She goes, you don't hear that? And I go, no, I don't. And then it clicked in. I went, oh yeah, I do, but it didn't wake me up. It had been going on for like a half hour before she even noticed it was still on, and I didn't even know it until she woke me up. So his medication was a little bit later than intended, and as a result, it wears off. When it starts wearing off, he gets more active and agitated, and so he didn't get his medication until like 1:30. Actually, no, I guess it was 1. By the time I got resituated to, being awake and getting all his medication ready to go and getting it ready for him, and he didn't get into like 1, which means it doesn't kick in for another 45 minutes to an hour usually. So we're talking 2 o'clock in the morning. He's still agitated, and finally 3 o'clock rolls around, and Mrs. Gimpy goes, when is he going to go to sleep? And I go, go to bed. She goes, what? I go to bed. This doesn't count for you. Just go to bed. I'll stay up. You can go back to, go sleep in the bed and go get some sleep, that stuff. And so I end up staying up with Rocket, and eventually falls asleep about 5 o'clock in the morning or so. After having him walk around the house a little bit, took him out on the porch, and we sat in the sprinkling rain a little bit. It wasn't too bad. And then we came in about 5 o'clock, dry him off. He likes being dried off for whatever reason. He does. And he went to sleep about 5:30. Good to go. I lay down shortly after that, and I make sure I don't fall asleep until he's been down for a good 15, 20 minutes, because I've learned my lesson on that one. And so I finally fall asleep about 6 or so. He's out at that time, and next thing I know, it's 8 in the morning. So I got my nice little 2 hours of sleep. Yeah, about 8 a.m. stuff. I wake up, and I expect Mrs. Gimpy to be up at this time, because she'd been basically sleeping since 3. So she had a good 5 hours sleep at least, minimum. And so I go, where is she? She's usually up by 8 o'clock in the morning. But she's not. So I get up and I go in the bedroom. She's still sleeping. I go, just let her go. And she doesn't get up until 9 at that point. Yes, I'm so refreshed. I am so refreshed. I had, I think, a whopping, if you count the nap I took at 11 to midnight ish. So I figure I got maybe 3 hours of sleep last night, which is typical of when I'm on babysitting patrol. So, but anyway, Rocket got some decent sleep. Then he woke up. Mrs. Gimpy, I think, got some decent amount of sleep too. And if we continue with the schedule we're on, I believe it's my turn tonight too, right? Because that's what I agreed to do. So yeah, so I expect to. I expect I will be falling asleep quite earlier tonight, and then waking up sometime around midnight to do the babysitting stuff after he gets his medication. So anyway, it's going to be a long day, and but otherwise, Rocket's fine. Shorter stream, it doesn't. That won't help at all. It's too early in the day. It's taking nap times at 6 o'clock in the evening just screws with everything. I used to do it in the past, um, before it was a when I was still working type stuff for real. I would take naps after dinner, so sometime around 6, 7 o'clock at night because I was so damn tired from stuff because of reasons. I mean, because of MS fatigue kicking in usually too, because it was really bad back then. Um, I would take a nap about 6, 7 o'clock, 20, 30 minutes, and it would just screw with my whole sleep schedule. And so since then, I don't take naps unless I'm ready to drop dead. And it's just the way I have to go out because it's if I take an evening nap, it just makes me fall asleep that much later into the night, and it just causes all kinds of physical issues with me. So I just don't do it. It's easier for me just to stay up. It's not necessarily easier, but it's better in the long run for me. So, but anyway, oh look, that's a news picture. That is from New Year's Eve when it was raining. We had rain on New Year's Eve too, but that picture with him looking out the door, it was raining out there. He was looking forward to 2026 coming. So that. Um, what else? You take a nap after dinner every day, and you have no problems with the night's sleep. See, I do though. You must be older or younger. I don't know, but I just can't do it because it just screws with my schedule. Because I guess this is technically not part of the Rocket Report, is it? Talking about my issues. But anyway, Rocket, he's doing well for the most part. Like I said, he has his moments. The last couple of days have been bad because of the rain and stuff, but we're supposed to be getting some nice better weather the next couple of days, so drying out will definitely help, and he should be better. 20 years of practice, yes, 20 years of practice. So, but yeah, Rocket, he's doing okay. I got another good tail wag out of him this morning because I think it was about. See, he didn't really get up until 9. Him and Mrs. Gimpy both slept until 9 this morning, and then he woke up and stuff, and he was agitated, sort of, kind of. So I gave him some CBD. He hadn't had anything really for quite a while, for a number of hours. So I gave him some CBD. He takes, he looks it right out of my hand because it's an oil, and he just goes after it every. He does not resist when it's in my hand. He does not have any problems taking it. So he just licks it right up, and then I pull my hand away, and he starts walking away. And as he's walking away, his tail's wagging, and not in the "I'm gonna fart" type wag. It's the happy wag. So it's just like, oh, he's for whatever reason he's been doing those type of wags more recently, and I'm not sure exactly what's changed there, but he seems to be happier overall for the most part. So, which is odd. Maybe it's because he's going super senile or something. I don't know. But yeah, he's doing okay. Mrs. Gimpy thinks he's in pain all the time, but I go, no, that's because he whines a lot. Like, he's not whining because he's in pain. He's whining because he's confused where he is, or we're not close enough to him, and he's looking for us and he can't find us typed up. It's more of an anxiety whine than it is a pain whine. She goes, how can you tell the difference? And I go, trust me, I can tell the difference. Trust me. As someone who goes through pain on a regular basis too, I can tell the difference between the noises that it requires. I can sense it in other animals too, so it's kind of funny. So no, that's not a pain whine. That's something else. That is definitely something else. So, but anyway, I think that's it. So that's a short one, sort of. Okay, so end of the Rocket Report for today. Look, it's an older, or sorry, a newer, older video. No, it's a newer video. This one is from late 2023. Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, this is late 2023 because Mickey passed in. Shit, we're up to almost 2 years since Mickey's gone. Yeah, I think this was in. So it's nice and green. It looks warm, so it's got to be December. Uh, oh, how would I summarize Rocket's year? Um, Summarize Rocket's 2025. That I wait for Mrs. Gimpy to stop. Um, so summarizing Rocket's year 2025, we made changes because got to remember Mrs. Gimpy's knee surgery was back in what, late July, early August for recovery and stuff. That didn't really affect Rocket in a negative way, other than actually kind of did affect him in a negative way because he didn't go on as many walks because of that. Hey, Brew, welcome back. Um, so he for that 6 weeks, actually longer than 6 weeks, he didn't get as much exercise as he had been getting, but it doesn't seem to have affected him too much in a negative way, because got to remember he's aging at that point too. He's still aging, getting older. Um, so I think at the beginning of the year, I think Mrs. Gimpy was still taking him out twice a year, or twice a month, or twice a day. Sorry, twice a day. And then after her surgery, it's dropped down to once a day, but it's not just because of her recovery process, it's because he's gotten older. He hit 18 this year, and that was back in May. So we're coming up on 19 here. That's not too far away, it feels like. So he hit 18 this year, or technically last year, right? So he's going to be 17, or sorry, 18 years, 8 months in a couple of weeks, right? On the 15th, that'll be his 8-month birthday. And so he's doing okay. We did finally start putting him on some medication because he did experience multiple seizures. Since Mickey's died, Rocket has experienced multiple seizures. And we're not talking little seizures, we're talking about big ones. I think they started in July of 2024 was the first big one. I think he's had 3 of them total since then. Um, and they're very traumatic for Mrs. Gimpy. They're very traumatic for him, of course. Hell, they're traumatic for me too, because those are hard to watch. Um, but somewhat as a result, he's been on medication since earlier this year, since the last big seizure he had. We said we got to do something because these are killing us. So we started giving him different types of medication for different things. Oh, we got him started. He's been on CBD for a while. We've been getting him CBD treats and oil for well over a year, I think now. And I think the CBD oil seems to work the best. At least it feels like it's the best. And what I mean by being the best, as far as it's not super strong, so it's not really noticeable on his performance, supposedly, as being able to, not experience pain, that kind of stuff, because it does help. Um, but the main thing you don't notice is the side effects, right? Because the other medication that he's on, which are, true pharmaceuticals, can be really harsh depending on what they are. The stuff that he's taking every 12 hours is not so bad. It can have gastrointestinal issues, but for him it's been fairly minor. Tried to put him on. We've used a anti-inflammatory a couple of times, and I'm very much against using anti-inflammatories, these pharmaceutical anti-inflammatories for dogs. These are basically NSAIDs for humans, like ibuprofen, that kind of stuff. We've used them before on one of her other dogs, Tasha, the Pomeranian from way back when. She didn't react well to it. She got massive diarrhea from it. And from that experience, I go, I don't think we really want to give this to Rocket. She goes, why? And I go, because remember what happened to Tasha? And she goes, yeah. And I go, well, there's a decision here because I'm gonna bet because I'm going to bet, and I'll bet you $1 million this is going to happen. You're going to give him the anti-inflammatory. He's going to feel better, and then he's going to shit everywhere. And she goes, oh, I hope not. And I go, watch. And so she gives it to him, and what do you know? Between the two medications he's on, he's feeling great. But 5, 6 hours later, he's shitting everywhere. And she's given it to him 3 times now, and every time, and it's not just it's for just once. It's like for he starts going, and then it lasts for like 5 or 6 hours, and it's not continuous, but it comes in spurts. Not to be making a pun there, but that's what it is, and and it goes on. It lasts for like 5 or 6 hours until his system basically empties out completely, and then he feels a little bit better. And he's miserable the whole time, too. It's like, and she just gave it to him a couple of days ago, and it went to like, oh, do you really want to do this? We know what's going to happen. She goes, yeah, but he's really in pain because of the rain and stuff like that. And I go, yeah, I know, but you're going to see, what's going to happen, and it happened. And then after he got cleaned out and stuff, and it's like, and I said, see now. And I'm telling her, go, do we really need to have this discussion every time? Because there's a trade-off here. Is the relief he's getting from the arthritis pain worth the discomfort and all the ugly stuff that comes with the side effects here? Because it's not just because yeah, he feels better about the arthritis, but having experienced what that stuff actually does for me as well, I'd rather have that pain without medication than go through diarrhea, because that's what basically, because it's people think diarrhea is well, diarrhea is actually can be dangerous too because it dehydrates you. So if you don't pay attention to your water intake, you can die if you're not careful. And animals are the same way. And so I tell her to go, when he's going through this, yeah, he's getting relief from the pain of the arthritis, but it's being made up for the discomfort in his GI tract, the diarrhea experience in itself, and being dehydrated and all this other fun stuff. I don't think it's worth it, and this is what I'm telling you. I don't think it's worth it at all. At least from if I had a choice, I am not taking those pills. If that's the trade off is a little bit of pain or some pain, I don't care how much pain it is. I am not going the diarrhea route. That's just horrible. So Rock could be shooting around the room. Not really, but well, sort of. But anyway, so I didn't really want to get down this particular subject, but it's part of Rook Rules wanted a how did 2025 go for Rocket? That was his first experience with that stuff, and hopefully a couple of days ago was the last experience, because I think I've sold Mrs. Gibby. We don't need to give him the stuff. I said, I told her, we'll just use CBD and the other stuff because that seems to be working the best between the two of them, and and there's no real side effects between them as long as we make sure that he eats properly and gets a good fiber, a good amount of fiber into his diet, because she's got fiber supplements, and then we also use the probiotics and stuff, which helps with the digestion issues too. And so as long as he stays on that stuff and doesn't eat anything funny, he does pretty well there. So, how Rocket would react to a new puppy. We already experienced that earlier this year when my mom brought her golden retriever over, who was technically not a puppy, except when compared to him, because Rocket is 7 years older than that one, which is hilarious. Parental territorial, neither actually. That was the funny part, is when my mom came over with her almost 11-year-old golden retriever, who I now call Rocket's little brother. The golden retriever disliked Rocket more than Rocket disliked Rory, who is the golden retriever's name. Rocket didn't care that he was in the house. He honestly didn't. He knew he was there because he could smell him, but he couldn't really see him for the most part, every now and then. Well, I take that back. He could, if the dog was standing up, Rocket would intentionally try to walk underneath his legs. like he was avoiding him like a chair type deal. If he was laying down on the ground, Rocket would say, he'd start walking, and he goes, "Is that something in front of me?" And then he keeps on walking because the golden would he picks places to lay that are basically traffic lanes for Rocket. So Rocket just says, "Is that something in front of me?" He just keeps on going. It bumps right into him. The golden retriever goes nuts. It was hilarious. Until they tried to kill each other, which was even more hilarious. Rocket defending himself against a dog that is literally 10 times his size. Didn't traumatize Rocket at all, but I think it traumatized Rory more than it did Rocket, which was hilarious. But yeah, so but again, how Rocket would react to a puppy, I don't. He when Mrs. Gimpy takes him out on walks and they run into younger dogs that are more interested in Rocket than Rocket's interested in them, he tends to ignore them until they get too close and sniffy. Because that's how dogs read each other, and apparently they come up and they want to play and sniff and whatever, and he just gets all old man on them. So if we were to introduce a puppy into the house, I don't think it would go well. However, if we were to introduce a smaller animal that wouldn't be so playful, like say a rat or a hamster or something like that, he would probably ignore entirely. A kitten is out of the question, of course. Small again, puppies, they're out of the question. There's too much for him. He's old, so yeah, is very nice. Oh, the golden, yeah, yeah. Cats out of the question too. I think. Oh, it would it said introducing a kitten would be bad because the kitten's going to want to play and bad things are going to happen. If you introduce an older cat, I don't know how that would go. I honestly don't know how that would go. Ferrets are illegal in California, so that the ferret's out of the question too. Not that I don't think a ferret would go well with Rocket anyway. Yeah, ferrets are illegal in California because they don't live here naturally. They're not a native species. A turtle. Why would you want a turtle? How's a turtle? What's Rocket gonna do with a turtle? What's he gonna do with a turtle? Anyway, so like I said, his 2025 I think was fairly well. He got yeah, see, just like Rocket. Um, yeah, we had the Rocket Lift. That's my new application service. Rocket Lift is a nice little thing where Rocket goes into a room. He sleeps for a little while, then he wakes up and he whines, and I go over there and I pick him up and I bring him wherever he wants to go and put him down, and hopefully my service is adequate and I get a nice 4-star rating, and that way. So a Wolverine, a rabbit, a rabbit actually might be actually a real possible should be a real possibility because rabbits tend to be not so aggressive, and if you pick the right version of rabbit, they won't get as bigger than him. So a badger would be very bad. Badgers and wolverines would not be good for Rocket. A rabbit is actually would be a real possibility, but Mrs. Gimpy's against that because how are we going to do a rabbit? You're just going to let it run around the house all day? I go, sure, why not? She goes, then it's going to just crap and shit everywhere. And I go, no, they get their little favorite corners where they go all the time. Don't worry, they'll be fine. She did not appreciate that answer either. I think you keep thinking Rocket is bigger than he is. Rocket, when he went the last time he went to the vet a few weeks back, he was 10.5 pounds with his harness on. And the couple of weeks before he went before then, he was 9.9 pounds. 10 pounds is approximately what in kilos? Four and a half? Four and a half, somewhere around there. So he's not, they're not big dogs. I mean, this is the lightest he's been in a long time. His peak weight was somewhere around 14 pounds when he was younger, and I called him my little sausage dog because that's what he looked like when you stood over him. You looked down, he looked like a big fat black and white sausage. It was hilarious. Trying to measure him on a tile on the screen now. Yes. Oh, Mrs. Gimpy needs to talk to me. Is it something good about Rocket or is it something else? Okay. We're talking about Rocket right now if you want to join the conversation. No? No. Okay, let me talk to her real quick. Okay, I'm back. Hey, Taco, welcome back. So, I saw the picture. Oh, the picture in the video up on the album. Yeah, new stuff this morning from Wednesday. Actually, I think it was what it was, or somewhere like around there. But anyway, Mrs. Gippy just let me know she was going to take Rocket for a walk, and she's asking me if I should give him his medication before he goes on his walk. I go yes. We want to get back into the earlier schedule, not the later one. So get that to him into him as soon as possible. So anyway, um, crap, this went longer than expected. How about we just stop with the Rocket Report for now? Oh, sorry. I always thought of getting a small terrier. Oh, terriers are terrors. Terriers can be terrors. Keep in mind, terriers are high energy dogs. This is something when thinking of getting dogs of any kind is, are their energy levels going to match your energy levels? Terriers are high energy dogs. You live out in the boonies. Well, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. Well, if you live out in the boon, I wouldn't. My general attitude is I would not have a small dog and let it run around outside if you live out in the boonies. Because when we have enough trouble here with coyotes coming up out of canyons and stuff or out of riverbeds, and they they take small animals. Coyotes do, and like if you live out in the boonies, you're going to be running into that kind of predators out there. Depending, of course, where you live, but more than likely you're going to have coyotes or some type of big predator. You have gators. See, gators will do that. Yeah, I would not have a small dog with gators walking around. Your eagles will take a dog. Yep. Yeah, that's when we first had when I first had small dogs here. We had still had red-tailed hawks, which aren't huge animals, but they can get smaller pets if they're feeling aggressive or hungry. So yeah, you got to be really careful with smaller pets when you're close enough to wildlife that can eat them or may think they can eat them, because I've seen that happen a couple of times in the past, where a red tail thinks it can take a small dog and nope, but it still killed the dog in the process as a result. So yeah. And Taco, thank you for the 240 consecutive streams watched. Much appreciated. So, so I think that's it for the Rocket Report. But because yeah, 2025 it was a year of change for him again. Hit the big 818. He did vote for the California election back in November. Ha ha ha. No, he didn't. Don't try to arrest me for that one. I did not commit for voter fraud. I wanted to, but I didn't. Um, Maybe next time. Maybe when he hits 21, we'll take him out to a bar and get him drunk. We'll do a little bar tour and get Rocket hammered on his 21st birthday. Scout report. Scout report is Scout has not been seen for over 3 years. Are we on the 3 year anniversary for Scout? Yeah, I think has been gone for 3 years. There's your Scout report. Scout has been gone for 3 years as of last month. So yeah, Rocket seems to be happy for the most part. I mean, sometimes he's grumpy. He's an old man. He has arguments with doors and walls and stuff from time to time, but otherwise he's fine. If Scout still lives, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who cares? Honestly, who cares? Oh. Anyway, we should get started. Hobo, Hurricane, and Jeff have been way too patient today. So, anyway, that's mean. What's mean? You obviously didn't know Scout, so you're entitled to your opinion. But in the case of Scout, it's wrong. So, Rocket needs his treats. He does need his treats. Yes, he does. Hi, Dungeon Master. Welcome back. Looking at this game at the moment, and also No Rest for the Wicked. I'm not familiar with No Rest for the Wicked. It sounds... That's just a common phrase, isn't it? I'm not familiar with the game itself, though. Anyway, we should get started.